thanks to her tireless campaigning for poverty relief in the UK.
And last week, a series of tweets by Jack Monroe went viral when she laid bare the startling reality of food price inflation. And Jack joins us now. Good morning.
Morning.
Hello,
You said the price increase of everyday essentials hits the poorest and most vulnerable households. So not just the cost of living, cost of food, the increase in the cost of food, cost of fuel, heating your home, all of that hitting the most vulnerable people.
Yeah, I've got a particularly stark example here, actually. People up and down the country are hugely struggling with the cost of living right now. I had one woman contact me on Twitter to say for the last few days, all she'd eaten for all of her meals was some plain noodles, cooked in a stock cube, with a little bit of ketchup to make it taste nice. Now, I was extremely tempted to just cook that for my cookery demonstration this morning, but I'll leave it here to sort of haunt us all.
Yeah.
I've made my point, and instead, I've got a super delicious but ultra-low budget sausage and bean casserole.
So, and I've just had a taste in the break, and it is absolutely delicious.
Thank you.
How much would this cost to make?
So this comes in at 31 pence per portion. When I first wrote it, it was for my first cookbook, A Girl Called Jack, which is nearly 10 years ago now. The recipe itself hasn't changed very much in that time, but the cost of the ingredients, some of them are nearly 4 times as much as they cost back then. It's getting harder and harder to keep those budget recipes as low budget as I'm used to.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to show you how. So we've got some sausages just browning off in a pan here. Just going to give them a bit of a shuffle. And I'm going to add some onion.
Where are you finding reasonably priced sausages?
In the frozen department of the supermarket.
okay.
It's best to not ask too many questions about them, I find. Right, so I'm adding my carrots and my onions to that there. A little splash of oil, just to sweat those off a bit. A little pinch of salt in there as well.
Do you know, I've not tried... I'm eating this now, and I've not tried the sausage yet, but the mash and the casserole itself is gorgeous. If you didn't eat meat, this would be lovely without the sausage.
Yeah, you can use mushrooms if you wanted to make a vegetarian version, or vegetarian sausages work really well in this as well.
Gorgeous.
So I'm just going to add some beans. I've rinsed these off here to get rid of the sauce on them because it tends to be a little bit sweet. So they're just baked beans rinsed. Baked beans are cheaper if you rinse the sauce off them than buying like naked beans are in the supermarket.
And an own brand cheaper than the 57 price.
Yeah. The own brand beans used to be 22p for a can. They're now around 32 to 35p, depending where you shop. So they're still cheap, but they're not as cheap as they were. Right, I've lost a bean there. Going to add my tomatoes to this now. And then the secret ingredients, some mixed dried herbs, a pinch of pepper, a bit of tomato puree to thicken it up. I'm just going to fling all this in. This is one of the joys of you can cook this while being distracted.
Which
is lucky.
Which is most households.
So all of the costs are included in your overall final number, and that's the puree and the herbs and things like that.
That's the tomato puree, the mixed dried herbs. Now, this mysterious thing here is actually powdered gravy granules. It adds a nice sort of like meaty flavour and texture to it. It replaces whatever is not in a 5p sausage. And it helps to thicken the sauce up so that you end up with that meaty, earthy, rich sauce that you've got there. It's actually instant gravy. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to that and crank that heat up there just to bring this up.
It's a real sort of... It really is a nice winter warmer, isn't it? It's a real comforting dish.
I mean, you could stick a bit of curry powder in it as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, that works as well. One of the things I like about my recipes is when people message me online to say, I made your recipe, but I used this instead of that, this instead of that, this instead... And I love it. Like, if I don't have mixed dried herbs in, I'll use, like, instant stuffing instead, because it gives you that sagey, oniony flavour. So it's super, super versatile. You can use basically whatever you've got in. Any root vegetables, any canned pulses. You can put ketchup in place of tomato puree if you've got it. You can use stock cubes instead of gravy. So it's super interchangeable.
Make the most of what you've got in the cupboard,
Right. So this just cooks off for about 20 minutes until your sausages are all cooked through, all your veg is nice and soft. And it should look like this when it's done. Where do I put this?
Oh, look at that, look.
Ta-da!
That is, like you say, it's good, it's quick, it's easy, And my winner in my house is that it comes with mash.
Yeah.
Ah, and funny you should mention it.
There you go. And do you know what? One thing that I always do for my kids, because they love it, is sweet corn in the mash.
It's funny you should say that, because that's literally what I've done. I call this moonshine mash, because back in the States, back in the day, moonshine used to be made with potatoes and sweet corn, and it's potatoes and sweet corn just mashed together. Easy way to get some extra vegetables into the kids. And the sweetness really offsets like the earthy flavours of the casserole. So I'm going to dish this up.
Like you say,
Have you added a bit of cheese in there as well? Is there a little bit?
Yeah, you can put cheese in it as well.
Good way to hide those veggies, isn't it?
Yeah.
And peas are always nice in there as well.
Oh, I'm not sure I'd smuggle those past my 11-year-old.
Thank you.
No worries.
It's really delicious.
It's
in fact,
really
I've
nice.
made quite a serious hole in that. Thank you, Jack.
No
the
worries.
details of today's recipe and more ideas from our chefs. And they're on our app, the budget-friendly meals, all that sort of stuff. You can find it all on there. Just download the free This Morning app.